So, the grade sheets you got back, if your grade is low, it might be because of a low quiz grade, which we're going to go over after this warm-up. And so, we'll talk about that when we get there for sure. But on this warm-up, this is from our notes from Friday. We did 30, 60, 90 special right triangles, and here's the rules right here. All you got to know is how to use it. So first of all, what kind of triangle is this? So I see I got 90, and I got 60, so what's this going to be up here? 30, okay? And I know one side, 5, is across from 60. So I'm going to put the 5 in the middle grid where 60 is, right here. Now remember, that means the middle equals the right side. So 5 squared of 3 equals sign 5. Okay? Now that was like number 2 on your assignment, which was like number 3 on your notes from Friday. But we need to figure out x. X is not 5. X is not 5 squared of 3. Okay? And it's actually not 10 either. So we got to do a little bit of algebra to figure that out. So what I'm going to do is this little equation I just have, I'm going to rewrite it. And if I want to get x by itself, this square root of 3's got to go. How do I get rid of it? I divide by that extra number. So yeah, we were going to divide by square root of 3. And then on the right side, divide by square root of 3. Okay? Now, when I have 5 square root of 3 over square root of 3, we did learn 2 weeks ago that you can't have a square root on the bottom. How do I get rid of it on the bottom? Okay, times the same square root will remove the square root. So if I do it on the bottom, do it on the top. Anytime I have a number times the square root, just put them next to each other. 5 square root of 3 over, and then a square root times the same square root is that number without a square root sign. So just 3, okay? So I end up with 5 squared of 3 over 3. So, and by the way, that's x equals that. So on my little grid, very top, I'll have x equals, and then this ugly fraction, 5 squared of 3 over 3. So again, I'm showing you the hardest type of one of these problems. There's easier ones. Now, if x equals that, what is 2x equal? Now, this is where it can get kind of confusing because what are you going to multiply by 2 in this fraction? So let me show you. 2x means 2 times 5 squared of 3 over 3. I'm just multiplying that fraction times 2. The only thing that's going to actually multiply by 2 is this top coefficient. Not the top and the bottom, because then those would cancel out, okay? So you're just multiplying this 5 by that 2. Okay, so you would get 10 square root of 3 over 3. The square root stays the same. The denominator, the bottom stays the same. Okay. Sudoku. Mrs. Marrero thinks it's like Sudoku, but I beg to differ. Now, down here, it's 10 square root of 3 over 3 is our final answer for that. Now, with that being said, I'm going to pass out your quizzes. Now, 4 of y'all either never took it or were not incomplete, not finished, and it's just missing for now. But if you come to tutoring like you say you are, and you can get it done. Now, by the way, here's the tutoring schedule for this week. Shorter week, right? I'm only here in the mornings. Well, I'm here every morning at 7, but I have a meeting tomorrow and Thursday. So if you get here as early as 7 to 8, I'm here for tutoring tomorrow and Thursday. Friday, I'm here all morning. After school, it just depends. Mrs. Murrow might have some meetings, but she'll update us as she learns. Not today, after school, okay? Maybe tomorrow, we'll see. Actually, Mrs. Murrow, tomorrow after school is official now, you told me, right? Since there's no credit recovery? Okay, we'll announce that tomorrow. All right, so let me pass out these quizzes. Okay, now we're doing trigonometry notes or trigonometric ratios. Okay, y'all remember when we did side angle side and all that fun stuff? We had all those cool songs. Well, Trig has even better, more awesomer songs. That's not a word, but you get the idea. Awesomester songs. All right, but let's write this down real quick. You got to know 3 different sides of a right triangle. There's a hypotenuse, an adjacent side, and an opposite side. Okay, so hypotenuse is always across from 90 degrees. Write that down. How do I know that? Well, here's my picture. Across from 90 is my hypotenuse, right? Now, don't remember what adjacent means? Adjacent means across or next to? Next to. Okay, adjacent is like your next door neighbor. So Miss Wash next door right here, she's adjacent to me. Okay, so opposite will be across, but adjacent means right next to something. So it'll be next to, and this is going to be a new letter. Okay, possibly for you. Okay, it kind of looks like a 0 with a slash in the middle. This is a Greek letter, and it's called theta. Someone write that up here. This means theta. Theta. Theta is whenever you have a missing angle. That missing angle is called theta. Okay? So, wait, what? Why are we using Greek letters? Good question. Oh, Theta. Theta. Alright, so why are we using Greek letters? Can't tell you. Okay, it's just another letter. You could use X if you want. But I'm just letting you know, if you see theta, that means you have a missing angle. Okay, just a variable for a missing angle. Now, you can see that in the picture here, the adjacent, that adjacent side is right next to theta. And then opposite is opposite across from theta. Okay, across from theta, opposite of theta, however you want to say that. So opposite is straight across. Okay, what we're going to be doing is labeling these 3 sides of every right triangle. O for opposite, H for hypotenuse, A for adjacent. O, H, and A. So I will show you how we do that in a minute. First thing we got to know, there's a saying, okay? And I want you to box this right here. And I want to make sure that we pronounce this correctly. This is a mnemonic device. This is something that's going to help us remember trig, okay? So I'm going to say it. It's so, S-O-H is so, C-A-H is ka, and then toa is T-O-A. So the way you say it is Sohcahtoa, okay? There's no U's in there, so remember, it's Sohcahtoa. Everyone say so. Now say ka once. Don't say it twice. And then toa, toa. All right? Now, that's a weird phrase, right? You'll learn what it means in math, but you need to memorize this thing. So let me paint a picture in your mind, okay? There once was this lady, okay? She was trying to get to work. So she was in her driveway, and her driveway had a tree over it, right? So there was all these pecans on the ground, right? And she made an unfortunate step, and she slipped. And she hurt her toe. She did not die. She's still alive to this day. And she hurt her toe. Now, some of you athletes know what happens when you kind of hurt yourself. What you got to do? Ice it. Go to the trainer. They might ice it, right? So imagine this lady. She's got a throbbing, painful toe, and she's got this nice little cup of ice cold water. And what's she got to do? She's gonna soak a toa. Soak that toe in the cold water. Now, this story is only half made up because this was actually Mrs. Marrero 3 years ago when she slipped on a pecan and actually hurt herself and messed up her ankle and her toe. So, now, did she really soak a toe? She actually didn't hurt her toe that bad, really, but she didn't really soak it. But now you have a picture in your mind of Mrs. Marrero's toe being soaked. All right? Now, all right, don't think about it too much, but Thank you. Now, so Sohcahtoa is what you need to remember. I'm going to show you how to use it. But remember the S-O-H, C-A-H-T-O-A. If you can remember Sohcahtoa, you're halfway there. Now, what does it mean? So these are fractions, okay? Anytime we're talking about trig, it's basically just a bunch of ratios, which means a bunch of fractions. Now, can y'all write small? This is a test of writing small, okay? So here we go. Sine is a fraction, O over H. S-O-H, right? Which means opposite over hypotenuse. So whatever those numbers are for the opposite and the hypotenuse, if you make them a fraction, that's S-I-N-E. By the way, how do you say this? Sine. Okay? When we abbreviate it like this, you don't need to say sin. It really means sine. Now, how do you say this? Cosine, not cousin. That's fun. Cosine. Okay? So you got sine, you got cosine, and then this is when I go to the beach. Tangent. All right. Well, anyway, tangent. Okay, so sine, cosine, tangent. Those are your three trig ratios. Okay, so, and then next thing is ka, A over H, right? C-A-H is ka. Don't say it twice. All right, so A is adjacent. And then over hypotenuse. We got we got ka, and then last one is toa. By the way, did any of y'all ever play with Bionicle Legos? At the very first like when I was a kid, when they first came out, they were called toas. Now I don't know if they still call them that, but that was their little tribe or whatever. So toa, think of Bionicles or something. T-O-A, T-O over A. So opposite over adjacent. Now, from now on, we're not going to write them all out like that. We're just going to put S is O over H, C is A over H, last one is T is O over A, right? Write it down. Sohcahtoa. Okay, it also sounds like something you would say when you're powering up in an epic boss battle. Sohcahtoa. And then all your math powers would be, into a beam of light and destroy these problems. All right, so here's the deal. Let's do these examples off to the right here. Notice we have abbreviations. It's not sin, it's sine. It's not cos, because I don't want you to cos in my class. It's cosine. And then it's not tan, it's tangent. Just so you know, abbreviations, you know what the real word is. So here's the deal. What is the angle on all three of these? P. We're starting at P. So that means my theta is P. So here's what I want you to do. Put a little arc at P, where that angle would be. Okay? Here's what you need to get really good at. You need to label O, H, and A. Label the opposite side, label the hypotenuse side, and label the adjacent side. Let me show you how it's done. Starting at P, if I go across, that's my O opposite side. Put a little O over there. Put a little O over there. Put a little O over there. Now, H is always across from 90. Okay? So, starting at 90, go across from it and label H. So, here's my 90, across from 90, and we'll put H. And that means your last leftover side is going to be A for adjacent. Okay? So we want to get real good at labeling O, H, and A. Okay? Now that it's labeled, for these three problems, I'm just going to write a fraction and reduce it, right? So let's start with sine. Sine is what over what? In general, it's O over H, right? So what's O and what's H? So O is 16, H is 20. So I'm going to put 16 over 20. Right? Is everyone with me? SOH means O over H, and I already know what O and H are. So just put them as a fraction. Real quick, 16 over 20 reduces to 4 over 5. Bless you. So now you can put equals 4 over 5, and that's it. The sine of P is a ratio, and it's 4 over 5. And you know how I know that? Because it's Sohcahtoa, S-O-H, O over H. Okay? Now, cosine of P, that's the ka, A over H. So what's A? 12. H is 20. So A over H, 12 over 20. Reduce that, and we do get, 3 over 5. Cool. Now tan is toa, O over A, which is 16 over 12, O over A, 16 over 12, which is going to be 4 over 3. Now, you tell me, if you can remember Sohcahtoa, and if you can label OH and A, then this is not that bad so far, right? Just making fractions. Here's a little curveball. What if, or what's different about these three over here? The angle has changed to Q. Now I'm doing this in blue. So now I'm starting over here at Q. That means OH and A are going to change. Well, H doesn't change. By the way, H is always across from 90, right? But I want you to cross out A and cross out O. Those have to change when you change your angle. So I'll say that again. Anytime you're doing these problems and they change the angle, O and A are going to change. So starting at Q, what's my new O? 12. H is always across from the 90, and my A is the leftover. Okay? So again, if you change angles, you're going to change O and A. Keep your head up, please. Thank you. We already did these, so stay with me. So, let's do this. Sine is what over what? In general. What sides is S? What two letters? O over H, right? Is everyone with me? S is over H. So, O and H are 12 over 20. And then can you reduce that? Well, we already did that over here. 12 over 20 is 3 over 5. Okay. Whatever. Okay, now, cosine is what over what? Ka, right, is what over what? A over H, which is 16 over 20. And we know that reduces to, from up here, 4 over 5. And then tangent, T, is O over A, which is what? 12 over 16. We haven't done that one yet, but what does that reduce to? It does reduce to 3 over 4. So, are you able to label OHA? Are you able to remember Sohcahtoa? Are you able to make fractions? That's the first part of trig. So this part, not too bad. You'll notice this next section right here is the same idea, and I want you to do it. So you're going to do this. I'm going to walk around and see how you're doing it. The first three angles are what here? A. So everybody, you can start doing this. Put a little arc at A, label O, H, and A. Start with that, and then I want you to find those three fractions for me, okay? I'll come around. Sorry, the mic was on. For sine, we did O over H, which was 15 over 17. Cosine was A over H, 8 over 17. Tangent is O over A, which is 15 over 8. All right. And then these, real quick, I'm going to do these next three while y'all, you can start to pack up, but I want you to see these answers real quick. This was all starting from letter C, okay? So this one's going to be O over H, 8 over 17. Cosine is A over H, 15 over 17. And then tan is O over A, 8 over 15. So those were your answers for that section. Tomorrow we're going to get into the calculator and solving for a side.